Hello to everybody. Today we are starting our third lecture on the history of medicine. Our theme for today is healing in the ancient Mediterranean. The ancient world is a group of countries which have developed in the first millennium BC on the Mediterranean coast. The most important among them was ancient Greece and ancient Rome. In contrast to the countries of the ancient East, ancient Greece and ancient Rome appeared more developed and complex forms of state administration. The people of ancient Greece created a high culture and eternal human values. Preconditions the development of culture in ancient Greece. Geographical location resettled between the countries of Asia, Africa, Southern and Western Europe. The acute social contradiction within the country, the Greece victory of the Persian invaders. General characteristic of the ancient Greece culture. Greek philosophers laid the foundation of many scientific disciplines and gave them names. Greek and Latin writing system formed the basis modern writing. The Latin language has long been the international language of science. There are 1,000 Greek and Latin words in the Russian language. The ancient Greeks created a unique epic of gods, heroes. The theatres appeared for the first time in Greece, created undying monuments, sport competitions, and the Olympic Games. One of the manifestations of ancient Greece culture is the development of philosophical thought. Formed two philosophical currents, materialism and idealism. The top of the ancient materialism is atomistic direction. Representative of atomic direction are Laetupes and Democritus. Basic provision, the teaching of Democritus. The code of a word is the matter, which consists of tiny particles. He called them atoms. Nature is in a perpetual constant moving and changing. The idealistic direction of philosophy, presented by the schools of Patagon's and Plato's school. Science denied the study of nature, explaining what has happened all over the world, facing the influence of supernatural power. The medical system of Plato. The cause of disease is not an external factors, and the physical side of an organism is not subordinated to the spiritual divine. Therefore, therapy should be not so much medication, but in the forms of various rites. Sources of information about the medicine in ancient Greece. Works of Homer's Iliad, Odyssey, Herodotus' history in 9 books, Hippocratic collection composed around the 3rd BC. Ecological excavations. In compared with other countries, medicine of ancient Greece had the highest level. This was facilitated by a leading philosophical doctrine of ancient Greece, formed materialistic views on the causes of disease, considered the connectors of disease with the environment. The disease was regarded as a changing phenomenon taking place in a certain stage of development. The Hellenistic period was characterized by religion, has been further developed. It contributed to the development of priestly medicine for the treatment of patients using the room at the temples, Asclepione. Room of the temple for the treatment of patients. Asclepion placed in the medical areas near sources of mineral water. The name Asclepion comes from the name of the god of healing, Asclepius. Asclepius, according to legends, lived in northern Greece. Doctor. Its sculpture. Healing in Asclepius combined the empirical and magical acts. The basis mean of treatment were natural medicine, hydrotherapy, diet, mode, gymnastic exercise, theatric forms. Attributes of Asclepius. Ancient authors believed that the staff of Asclepius is the symbol of care and support patients, and thickening of his staff show the complexity and wisdom of healing. Snake in ancient times symbolized the wisdom of science and cognition. The holy serpent. Daughters of Asclepius considered the goddess patrons of certain areas of medicine. Hygiena, the goddess of health, from her name comes the word hygiene. And Panacea, the patroness of drug treatment, the goddess of healing. Along with Asclepion, in ancient Greece, there were nursing homes, iatroi. In big cities of the ancient Greek physicians were divided into public, home, traveling, and secular. Doctors of ancient Greece, public, treated the poor free citizens and carried out measures against epidemics. Home treated rich people. Errant, cathedral to merchants and handicraftsmen, and secular treated the wounded during the wars. Medical schools of ancient Greece. Kraton, Zinus, or Eryphon, course, Hippocrates, the great ancient Greek physician, reformer of ancient medicine. The famous healer, Praton, for the first time in the history of medicine, presented organism as a unity of opposites. He introduced the principle of medicine, the opposite that there is a drug from the opposite. Alcmaeon dissected the corpus and made several discoveries in the morphology. Zindo's medical school developed the theory of four body juices: blood, phlegm, clear bile, and black bile. Health is understood as a result of a favorable mix, and conversely, negative was seen as the cause of most disease. The doctrine of juice body was formed a humoral theory. This theory was in medicine until the 19th century. Chidos Medical School. Doctors have learned to describe the symptoms and their meanings in diagnosis of disease. Outstanding healer of this school was Eryphon of Zindos, a contemporary of Hippocrates. Eryphon introduced the concept of chrosia and dyschrosia, which defines health and illness. Kos Medical School, the main medical school of ancient Greece. Kos physicians believed that a person's health and disease are composed in close connections with the outside world. In their understanding, the disease is not a punishment of the god. This is influence of surrounding nature and eating disorders. Hiller's Kos School developed the doctrine of body juice and four types of people who lived in different locations. Developed the principles of care and treatment of their bedside. Examined sick people, did forecast of disease. Representative school of Hippocrates, of course, reformed an ancient medicine. The birthplace of Hippocrates, Kos Island. The title of the book of Hippocrates. The works of Hippocrates. Aphorism, epidemics, about the air, water, and places, about a head wound, about fractures, prognosis. The basic principle of Hippocratic therapy, patient anatomy, benefits, non-maleficence. Non-maleficence means to do no harm. Benefits means to help other people when one is able to do so. Both of these principles are derived from the Hippocratic oath. As to disease, make a habit of two things, to help or at least do not harm. Hellenistic period. The need of Greek medicine reached in the Hellenistic period, the second half of the 4th century BC, the middle of the 1st century AD. This period is connected with the name of the ancient Greek philosopher Aristotle. Basic provisions of the Aristotle philosophical works. The proof of the primacy of matter. He was the first who applied this thesis. Aristotle acknowledged the existence of the soul. The soul, according to the Aristotle, is generated by the motion of matter, although it is a non-material concept. Such statements are shaped by the teachings of Plato. Aristotle developed logistic problems. The mind has a special meanings and was the main advantage of a person in contrast to another world. Gerophil, the founder of destructive anatomy, the first Greek who conducted the autopsy. Gerophil investigated of brain ventricles. He described 3 stages of heart contraction: systole, pause, and diastole. He showed the difference between arteries and veins. He measured the small intestine, called the duodenum. He published the work Anatomy. The peculiarity of the Hellenistic period, development of anatomy, advances in surgery, the introduction of vascular bandaging, the invasion of catheter, complex operations on the kidneys, liver, spleen, amputation, and etc. 2 powerful sources has the surgery of Hellenistic period: the Greek surgery with bloodless methods of treatment, and Indian surgery, which were complex operations. Medicine of ancient Rome. In this successor of Greek and Eastern medicine. Ancient Rome medicine has been closely associated with the medicine of ancient Greece, however, had his own characteristic. Sources about the medicine of ancient Rome. Lucian's poem, The Nature of Things. Aulus Cornelius Celsus, treatise about medicine. Claudius Galen, on appointment of parts of the human body. Information from archaeology, ethnography, material, and numismatic sources. In the poem, The Nature of Things, there are thoughts about the structure of living organism made up of atoms, about species difference, about the hereditary transmission of science, about causes of infectious disease. Treatise about medicine, encyclopedia has 8 volumes about methods of healing. Information about predecessors and contemporaries of Celsus contains a description of known disease, their symptoms, methods of treatment. Aulus Cornelius Celsus developed an idealistic trend in medicine, believed that doctors' experience has most useful assistance in the clinical practice. Medicine ancient Rome has been closely associated with the medicine of ancient Greece, but had own characteristics. Medicine of the ancient Rome, the features of development, created the military medical service, established military hospitals. In the cities, there were sanitation facilities, water supply, sewerage, bath terms. Roman baths were hygienic, medical, social, and cultural centers. Created the laws of sanitary rules, were introduced other positions, the chief physicians. The Roman surgical instruments. So many of them are used until now. Asclepiad. He developed materialistic trend of ancient Rome medicine. He believed that the body's material base are atom. He believed that the disease depends on the stagnation of the solid patients in the pore and the channels of the body. The etiology of the disease is stagely of therapy. The physician must treat safely, quick, and pleasantly. The primary importance of the treatment are diet, massage, bath, and other means of physiotherapy. A special place in the history of culture world and medicine history take a Roman physician, Claude Galen. The main merit of Galen is to apply the experiment to study the physiology process in vivo. It was first time in the history of medicine. Galen contributed to the development of medicine. He applied the experiment on animal to study the physiology of respiration system. He marked the beginning of the topical diagnosis of the nervous system disease. He has made a regimentation for preparation of medicine from plants. He summed up the experience of the many generations of physicians in his own works. The labor of Galen on the appointment of the human body parts. Galen thought that the habitant can be a cause of disease, but it can also heal. He believed that health is the balance and harmony of the four moistures, which controlled by all things in the body. He was a supporter of the humoral theory of disease. Galen systemized doctrine about disease cause. He indicated that disease develops from the effects of causal factors on the patient's body. He has shown that anatomy and physiology, the scientific basis for the diagnosis, treatment, and prevention. Galen's world is dualistic. In their philosophical view, he followed Aristotle, but for expediency was the standpoint of Plato's ethno mind. Catholic Church and Scholastic in the Middle Ages used the idealistic side of Galen's teaching and tied them with theology. So Galenism is distorted, one-side understanding of the teachers of Galen. In 476 year, the Roman Empire caused to exist. The ancient slave system caused to exist, has entered a new period of history, the Middle Ages. This is all for our lecture for today. See you on next lecture.